What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Sheehan Show. Me, Sean Sheehan, here on Sherdog.com, and I am back with the trending news show for the week. We're halfway through October, and not only have we had brand new fights, but we have had a big retirement over the weekend, and we've also had, I suppose, a bit of controversy in the last week. I'm going to start off with talking about Conor McGregor. I've done the show, I think this is like the 4th or 5th edition. I've talked about McGregor twice now, which is honestly a lot more than I'd like to. And we're going to talk about that and the 18 months ban which he's serving at the moment. We're going to talk about his old friend Jose Aldo and his retirement over the weekend. And then we're going to talk about the fights that were just announced mere hours ago for UFC 323. And there's some fun ones there. I want to talk about those. But let's get to Conor McGregor first. And it was announced in the last week that McGregor had missed 3 doping tests and would be suspended for 18 months. And as luck would have it, he'll be back, I believe, in March of next year, just in time for the Donald Trump birthday bash at the White House, where he's probably fighting Michael Chandler, let's be honest. Look, this is one of those things that comes out, and there's 3 different takes on this. I was going to say opinions, but opinions are weird. There is the opinion of the people, and I'll say this now. One of the first 2 opinions is correct, and I'm not sure which one. The third one is a bit different. So the first one is the opinion of, we knew it. Conor McGregor, and everything everyone suspected disproves it, even though it doesn't really prove it. But he's a fuck up. He missed his tests. So why did he miss his tests? And all of this sort of stuff that's thrown out there, right? The second group of people, which I kind of fall between the first and second a little bit. The second group of people is like, hold on, this is absolute bullshit anyway, this testing. Like, okay, Conor McGregor didn't take his test, but should people be put under constant testing 365? And I know Ariel has talked about that as well in the last week, and the day before it, PFL were praised by me and other people for actually leaving USADA and going back to the old testing. So there's that part of it, and then there is the part which I suppose I'd kind of like to talk about today, but we'll mention every bit of it in the last couple of seconds here, is the wider public, right? So the wider public look at this and they don't see it in Sherdog.com or the UFC website where it was announced, or MMA Fighting or MMA Junkie or any of our friends. They see it on, over here like Joe.ie it is, or the Lad Bible, or, maybe TMZ in America or whatever it might be. And it's like, McGregor 18-month doping ban, right? And I do it with things I don't really know much about or care about. And I look at the headline and, oh my God, Conor McGregor was caught taking drugs or whatever. And if you look into it, go, well, it was a doping ban because he missed doping tests. He didn't fail a doping test or anything like that. But and you can have whatever your opinions are on what happened, and if you think the book was Sean McGregor, if you think he got off light, if you think whatever you think, if he's like, he shouldn't have been doing it, he was avoiding tests or whatever. No, that's an opinion thrown out there with no backing to it altogether. But to the general public, this is a headline. This is Conor McGregor does something again. Conor McGregor has been banned for 18 months for drugs. This is what they're seeing. So, McGregor didn't have much to fall back on, but one of the things he always had to fall back on was calling other people's drug sheets and, saying he never failed the test and everything like that. And, he once famously sung about putting USADA in the bin and everything like that now. And this is I was going to say a blow to the brand, but by God, that brand has taken a lot of blows over the years. So, yeah, this is, there's, what I will say about this. This is a case that I think a press conference should have been called with Jeff Nowitzki, Dana White or not Dana White, and McGregor, and put him in front of a load of journalists and answer questions about this. A lot of people, talking about the timings of the test. The first one was missed on the same day the fight was called off, but the fight was called off on the 13th of June. The test was missed on the 13th of June, but McGregor actually got injured on either the 1st or 2nd of June. And I know that for a fact, right? there was supposed to be a press conference on the 3rd of June. I live 3 hours drive away from Dublin. Kind of got the heads up here, Sean. Don't go. That's about to be called off because he got injured, and indeed it was. So it's not like, oh, a test was missed and the fight was called off. He actually missed 2 more tests. 3 months later after, 4 months later after it, and there was no drug test failure or anything in that time that we know of. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff going around with this, and a lot of questions that need to be asked. Also, the question I would love to ask, and we'll move on after this, Yair Rodriguez, when it was under USADA, got the same, did the same thing. He got 12 months reduced to 6. McGregor got 24 months reduced to 18 months. Why is that? Was there a difference? Like, why did one guy get double the time initially, triple the time after the good behavior was taken away? Why did that happen? Like, is it just different under what's the new one called, the CSAD, I believe it's called, as opposed to USADA? I actually emailed Jeff Nowitzki as well, so I'm not just asking questions here to the Deep Blue Yonder. I actually asked him, got no reply back yet. But I think a press conference should have been called to put all those questions to bed and to see what the actual facts of the matter have. So, look, this is another blow for Conor McGregor. Not good. Like, I think it's absolutely bullshit that fighters should have to get tested 24/7, 365. But if you're a fighter, you're in the thing, you sign up for it, you have to do it. Now, that's not a great excuse, because we could say the same about fighter pay and all, but we've said this, I'm blue in the face, I'm saying it, lads, for years and years and years. The fighters haven't got together, they haven't fought for these things, they haven't fought for better fighter pay, they haven't fought for better drug testing in terms of the way they're treated. So who's to blame? Only themselves, to be honest. And Conor McGregor's to blame for missing those tests as well. It's his own fault. So that is Conor McGregor. Let's move on to Conor McGregor's old friend Jose Aldo, who retired for second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time. I don't know. I've lost count at this stage. But everyone knows I make the MMA retirement jokes all the time. But Jose Aldo, one of the greats of mixed martial arts, in my opinion. One of my favourite fighters to watch down through the years. And again, one of those guys as well, because he fought McGregor, there was a lot of disrespect thrown his way in Ireland, which I think myself and a lot of people who are watching, MMA long before Conor McGregor came around did not like at all. Because, I think maybe times have changed, but when I got into the sport and stuff, this was a sport people tried to respect each other, and there was trash talk and all of that. But a guy like a Jose Aldo, or Lyoto Machida or Anderson Silva, or guys like that, we respected him. Even if you're a countryman, or if you're a fan, your favorite fighter was fighting him, you'd still have a lot of respect for him. But the things Jose Aldo was put through and that, and these press conferences in Dublin were absolute disgrace and things. I don't think he deserved any of that, because at the end of the day, Jose Aldo was an unbelievably good fighter. And to me, what personified Jose Aldo was a fight that happened on July 9th, 2016. It was the next fight after Conor McGregor knocked him out in 13 seconds, and it was against Frankie Edgar. He went 5 rounds with Frankie Edgar, who was, had not long been the lightweight champion, a top contender, obviously down now at featherweight, and he destroyed him. He, someone had a great tweet up at the time. I couldn't find it, but it was basically like Jose Aldo got knocked out in 13 seconds in the last fight, and he decided not to get hit for 25 minutes in this one. And he just took Frankie Edgar apart. He really, really, really did. Like, Jose Aldo fought as well from, he started his career as a pro in 2004. Now, he fought Phil Harris, a good fighter, UFC fighter, in 2005. He fought for the first time at WEC in 2008. Ended up fighting, guys like Cub Swanson, Jonathan Brookings, Mike Brown. Like Mike Brown, 1 era to the next era, Uriah Faber to, Mark Hominick, Kenny Florian, Chad Mendez, to the next era again in Conor McGregor, to the next era again in Max Holloway, to the next era again in Volkanovski, to Jan, and to Dashvili, I suppose, in his final days as well. This guy not only fought the best of the best at the start of his career, but in the middle of his career when he was a champion, and at the very end of his career as well. An absolute legend. an absolute legend of the game, like a guy whose leg kicking game was legendary. He kind of gave it up. His takedown defense, the greatest takedown defense in the history of mixed martial arts. Like when he was a featherweight champion and Habib was coming up, like that was a fight I was hoping, like, give me that super fight. I would love to have seen that fight back in the end. Now size was there was a big size disparity there, obviously, but like Jose Aldo will have got. I was talking about this the other day as well, and I think Anderson Silva has kind of been hurt by the latter part of his career. You know, obviously he broke his leg and he failed the drugs test, and then he came back and he lost a lot of fights to, you know, guys who probably shouldn't be beating Anderson Silva. Now, look, Jose Aldo lost to Mario Bautista and Eamon Zahabi in his last two. No disrespect to either of those two guys. I have a lot of respect for both of them. Both are on great runs at the moment, but you know, that's not Jose Aldo. Like almost every fight he had lost before that, Marlon Moraes aside, because I think, and I honestly, I think that was a robbery. I think he won that fight. Everyone else, you know, Dashvili, Yan, Volkanovski, Holloway, after the McGregor one, every single one of them had touched gold. Every single one of them, which is absolutely crazy. So Jose Aldo, and I hope those last two fights, you know, don't tarnish his legacy in any way. I don't think they will, because he was still competitive. Both of those fights went to decision, right up until his last fight. And what a legend he is. Will go down as one of the top 10 fighters of all time. Some people probably have him a lot higher than that, but if anyone doesn't have him in the top 10, I think they're lunatics. So what a career by Jose Aldo, and looking forward to his next one. Anyway, we won't say that. Right. Some fights have been announced for UFC 323, and I am very, very excited about them. The aforementioned Merab versus Pereira, the rematch is happening. Pantoja versus Van is happening, and another fight as well. Henry Cejudo versus Peyton Talbot is also happening in a fight that's very, very intriguing for me. Obviously, Peyton Talbot had lost not too long ago, and he's been thrown back in there against, you know, Henry Cejudo, who, you know, Henry Cejudo fought for the title last year against Merab. Now he's lost. That was the middle of 3 losses in a row. Lost to Sterling before that. You know, he had his retirement even before that, which was absolutely crazy. And he lost to Song Yadong last time on. All 3 of those losses by a decision, though. And, you know, Talbot is a guy who, you know, a very, very good fighter. But is this a step too far for him against Henry Cejudo? You know, 38 years of age, Henry. This could be his last hurrah. If he loses this fight, it could be the end for him. But we'll see. Will it be? But I'm very, very intrigued and really looking forward to that fight and seeing, you know, how it'll go, and you know, will Talbot you know, rise to the occasion, because, you know, he has been put in a position before where maybe he was going to take that next step and he lost. So the pressure's on here. Can he do it? We will see. Then we've Pantoja against Van, and we'll talk about the main event in a second. But that fight, you know, Pantoja on an all-time run at the moment, you know, getting up there towards Demetrius Johnson's record of the greats at 125, you know, Kai Kara-France, Kaya Sakura, Steve Erceg, Royval Moreno, Perez, Royval again, and Manuel Cape, all the way back to 2020. What a run he's been on. But Joshua Van has looked amazing recently. Only 24 years of age, 15-2. Royval, Silva, Ciora, Durden, and Charez, all in the last, 18 months or so. He's won the last 3 of those fights, Ciora, Silva, and Royval in the last, since March, in 2025. You know, that fight against Royval, he looked amazing there. And I think a lot of people after watching that fight think this guy could be the guy to bring Pantoja down. You know, Pantoja is pretty busy as well. He fought December last year, fought June, and now he's fighting here again in December. So, you know, for a champion, I think that's you know, that's pretty busy, considering you know, I think considering the fact he hasn't got a decision in his last 2, won both by submission, he's probably more liable to kind of come back early. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't know will I give the official pick yet. I need to go back and watch more of Van again, because sometimes you get carried away, but right here where we're sitting right now, I might be a Van guy in that. And in the main event, Merab Dashvili against No Mercy Petr Yan. They fought back in 2023. Merab won that via decision. Yan has fought 3 times since. He's beat Song Yadong, beat Devin Figueiredo, and beat Marcus McGee all by decision. Merab has had 5 fights, beat Cejudo, O'Malley, Nurmagomedov, O'Malley again, and Sandhagen obviously only last week or 2 weeks ago or whenever it was. Look, it's very hard to see Merab losing to anyone in that division, to be honest. It's very hard to see anyone giving him much of a fight. I think Corey Sandhagen did very, very well, and it was arguably 2-2 going into the last, obviously with a 10-8 as well. But he wasn't able to get it done. Can Yan get it done? The second time around, he's 32 years of age, 24 fights into his career. He's in the prime of his career right now. Like, or is he in the prime of his career? Like, is he as good as he was before the Aljamain Sterling first fight and even second fight, I suppose? It's hard to say, but he's going to have to be. He is going to have to be. And the one catch I will give, and I'll leave it at this now. There's a reason that a stat went around that only 7 or 8 people have ever won 3 championship fights or defended their belt 3 times in a year. No one has ever defended it 4 times, if I'm correct. Now, Mike Bond will probably correct me on that, but there's a reason for that. You know, that's unusual. Things are unusual, not because they're not done often, right? It's because they're hard to do. And turning around very quick. After the fight, Corey Sandhagen, as I said, 2-2. That was a tough fight. Turn around in 2 months to fight Yan again, who has been primed and ready and willing to fight you. He hasn't fought since July. You know, I'm sure he's been preparing. He's not a guy that gets out of shape. That is a big, big fight. So potential banana skin for Merab. All right, we will leave it there, everyone. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of all those 3 things, and let me know what you'd like me to talk about next. And we'll be back next week with more trending news. Until then, my name is Sheehan for Sherdog.com, and I'll see you all next time.